So we are going to continue our discussion about the atmosphere and how humans impact our environment. And so what are some other ways humans impact our environment is, first of all, we need to talk about ozone. So ozone, or O3, is a naturally occurring gas. And so it's vital to life on our Earth because the ozone is in the upper atmosphere and it screens out most of the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. So ozone, or O3, is a way that this gas protects us from some of the sun's rays that could be harmful. And so humans have impacted the ozone layer, okay? And so we'll talk about how we've done that. So we know that too much sun, it can be a bad thing, right? If you stay out in the sun too long, you'll get too much ultraviolet radiation. And so if you do that for one day, you end up with a bad sunburn. Over time, you can get things like skin cancer and cataracts, and decreased resistance to disease because ultraviolet radiation is dangerous. Okay, too much of it's very dangerous. So plants and phytoplankton, they're the producers in the biosphere, and are also affected by high levels of ultraviolet radiation. So the ozone layer, you see this blue area, technically it's above the earth, right? So it acts sort of like a sunscreen, okay, and it protects all life on earth from harmful UV radiation. So what are humans doing? So humans are causing the ozone layer much damage by releasing harmful chemicals into the atmosphere. Okay, so one of these ozone-destroying chemicals is called chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs. So CFCs, when they're released, and these are released in things like some of the older hairsprays and anything you had like in a can that was pressurized, sometimes you had CFCs in that. And so nowadays they have gases that they use that are not CFCs that are environmentally friendly. So when you release CFCs into the atmosphere, CFCs act as a catalyst. A catalyst is basically a way to speed up a chemical reaction without being part of that chemical reaction. So CFCs, they speed up the breakdown of ozone molecules. So they make the natural process of the breakdown of ozone molecules makes it faster. So it's estimated that a single CFC molecule can lead to the destruction of up to 100,000 ozone molecules. So they're super bad for the atmosphere and the environment. So you probably heard of this problem of having a hole in the ozone layer. Okay, so it began in the 1970s. Atmospheric measurements began to detect alarming declines in the level of ozone in the atmosphere. So here's a picture of the hole in the ozone layer over Antarctica. The destruction of the ozone is more severe over the polar regions and more severe at certain times of the year. For a few weeks each year, an ozone hole forms over Antarctica. This hole is an area of very low ozone concentration. So what will happen if the ozone levels decrease? So the reduction of ozone levels will affect life on Earth. There will be many new cases of skin cancer in humans. Plants and other photosynthetic organisms can be affected, modifying entire ecosystems over time. All right, let's talk about another problem. Okay, so you probably heard of global warming, and so with humans, the way we live, we burn hydrocarbons, and that produces carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is the main product of automobile exhaust, for example. So we know carbon dioxide is a naturally occurring gas in the biosphere. We actually exhale it, right? Every time we exhale, most of that air is carbon dioxide gas. Plants also use carbon dioxide gas as a source to build molecules of glucose during photosynthesis. Animals give off carbon dioxide, okay, and we use oxygen in order to fuel cellular respiration. We, as a byproduct, we release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So photosynthesis takes in carbon dioxide to make glucose, and we breathe in the oxygen that's released from the plants, and we exhale out carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so additional carbon dioxide molecules are released into the atmosphere when you burn fossil fuels like gasoline in your car, or when they use coal, if they're burning coal to make electricity. If they use oil, gas are burned. This all releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Any combustion reaction, you're burning anything, is usually going to produce a lot of carbon dioxide gas. So during the Industrial Revolution in the 1850s, humans began to increase the burning of fossil fuels. As a result, the carbon dioxide levels started rising in the atmosphere. They've risen up to 30% since the Industrial Revolution began. Some scientists estimate that if current trends continue, by the year 2100, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will be double what it was in 1850. So, what is the danger in increased levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? So, Earth's atmosphere naturally traps heat from the sun. This is known as what's called the greenhouse effect. Life on Earth depends on this warming effect to protect us from the cold space. However, when you have more carbon dioxide, it's known as a greenhouse gas. It causes more heat to be trapped than is normal. This has led to warming trends that threatens to change the climates on Earth. That's how we get global warming. Carbon dioxide gas, as we have more and more, accelerates that process, and our Earth is getting warmer and warmer. So today, the average global temperature is about 0.6 degrees or Celsius or 1 degree Fahrenheit higher than it was in 1860. Scientists expect additional increases of 2 degrees Celsius or 4 degrees Fahrenheit by 2050. So global warming is a term used to describe this increase in the average temperature of the biosphere. So an increase in the temperature is going to have global consequences to rainfall patterns and soil moisture. Sea levels will rise as more polar ice is melted by this increase in temperature. So we've talked about industrial growth and urban development, and so within the Industrial Revolution, it started in the 1800s, man added machines and factories. The machines and factories, of course, require a source of energy. We obtain most of this energy from burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Cities and industries produce large quantities of waste, in the form of carbon dioxide gas, CFCs, which increase the breakdown of the ozone layer. And so for many years, these wastes were released into the air, into the water. Those are released into the water by acid rain, right? Some of those pollutants can react with water vapor and produce acid rain. And it also affects the soil. All right, deforestation affects the soil. Acid rain affects the soil. And other pollutants also affect the soil. The spread of suburban communities consumes farmland and has led to habitat destruction. Okay, so in order to create farmland, you have to cut down a lot of trees and create a field. And so, because once a forest is now a field, then you might have erosion of the soil, and your soil may lose nutrients that way. And man has impact on the earth, and so we're going to learn about other ways man impacts the earth.